But when you get double teamed, what the linebackers have to do? Attack. They have to play. All right. So let's see how they do. Watch. Look at number 0. As soon as these linebackers do, as soon as the linemen do this and they double team, he's supposed to be flying in there. Where is he going? He's nowhere. Where he's not going. He's not playing downhill. So now 77 comes off. Now you have the 70. Now you have the double team, and you have him sliding up to the second level. All because he still has not moved from his position. And it may seem like this is all happening fast, but yes, when you watch the good defenses, as soon as they see it, they attack it. Yes, you can get beat on play action sometimes. That's why you have to be good with your eyes. But as soon as you see it, you attack that. Because if you don't, look where Saquon's going. But when you get double teamed, what does the linebackers have to do?
Yo, Cowboy fans, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all know I'm a realist. I'ma only be real about how good we are and all that. But I'm struggling to understand what we're gonna do with these linebackers. I like what we saw in the preseason, but when you just break down the 3 starting linebackers that we plan to start, this is what they were on as far as the defensive team rankings against the run last year. Kenneth Murray, Jack Sanburn, and Damone Clark were on defenses that could not stop the run last year. What does that mean for the Cowboys, though? That's my question. Yo, Cowboy fans, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all know I'm a realist.
Yeah, again, second half was way better. I want to see that, before I speak to it. But I will say this: he's been incredible from the time he got here. Just the big body and the physicality that he has in the A gaps is a huge advantage for our defense. And I think we really started fitting our gaps better in the second half. It all works together, right? The offensive or the defensive line, they have a gap. The linebackers have to find their gaps. And I thought we did a much better job playing true gap sound defense in the second half.
A lot was said about your decision to not play guys like that first time in the preseason. What does it say about Dak to come out and have the game he did after not taking the preseason?
He's a pro. I mean, how many snaps has the guy played in the NFL? I thought he played really well. And Dak's going to come on here and say the same thing. There's no moral victories. We had a chance. We did not make enough plays. And when plays are there against a good football team, you have to make plays. And that's coaching and playing and all that together. But, again, we know we're good enough to beat the Eagles. We know we're good enough to beat anybody, but we have to do it. Those are just words. And we came up short tonight. So like I said, give them credit. We'll look at the film and see areas that we need to get better and how we can kind of tie it in better and play more complementary football next week against the Giants.
All right. So let's get into the film. This is another episode of Donovan Talks Cowboys. I'm live right now. I'm sure people are going to be coming in and out. I'm not looking at past defense because there really wasn't much to look at. The defense, DBs, we know played good because Jalen Hurts didn't have nowhere to throw it. I'm not looking at Jalen Hurts rushes, the scrambles. I mean, we know what happened. We all have watched enough football to know that you have to be able to contain a running quarterback. I'm not looking at that. So I'm just going to be looking at the running defense, non-Jalen Hurts scrambles. And let's just break down the players and give grades on how they played. Now, Brian Schottenheimer, according to Tommy Yerish, says that he named Marshawn Kneeland, Solomon Thomas, Kenny Clark, and Malik Hooker as players on the defensive ball that stood out to him. Solomon Thomas, Marshawn Kneeland, Kenny Clark, Malik Hooker. Those were the players he said that stood out to him. Now, if you just look at stats, Malik Hooker led the team in stats, but he's a safety. So you got to kind of watch the film and just really watch the game to know, was he impactful or not? You did notice Malik Hooker was a sure tackler and he was coming upfield. When you first thought about the safeties, you thought Malik Hooker was the coverage safety and you thought Donovan Wilson was the downhill safety. Donovan Wilson had 1 tackle. Think about that. A running team with a running quarterback Your safety, who we thought was the in the box safety, Donovan Wilson had 1 tackle. Malik Hooker had 9. So we're gonna break it down. He was coming upfield and making tackles. So yes, that was noticeable. He mentioned Solomon Thomas. You're gonna see why Solomon Thomas was a name that Brian Schottenheimer mentioned. He just simply gets off the ball and he will fight. Now, if you double team him enough times, he's going to get blown up just like a lot of people get blown up that are even bigger than him. But he's going to fight every play. Of course, different than what Amazi Smith will give you. He brought up Kenny Clark. Everybody knows Big Kenny. Big Kenny played well. And I think that was it. I think that was all he brought up. So let's look into the film. And I played those clips earlier because I don't want anybody to say I'm hypocrite or I'm hindsight 2020 or anything. No, I said what we have to do to play well against against the running game, and we did that in some ways. But what became our weakness? The linebackers. Our linebackers became our weakness, and that was the thing that I created 2 videos specifically talking about. We can't have poor linebacker play. But let's just break it down and let's just see. All right, first things first. When you have these double teams, your linebackers have to play upfield. Notice how they're playing upfield. This is great right here. Besides Sam Williams kind of losing, he needs to be outside, but this is good. Right now, everything looks good. Everybody's playing downhill. This is great. And guess what? Damone Clark. This was one of the guys I've been really critical on since the games. Look what he plays physical right here, but how does the ball get outside you? You see what I mean? Everything was done right on here. They see the double team, they read it fast. Damone Clark actually hits with the right shoulder. But how do you not finish this play? And then again, Sam Williams. Go look at my videos, y'all. I created videos early in camp about Sam Williams not giving effort, Sam Williams freelancing, Sam Williams maybe needing to be released. This is one of those plays where, look, he's starting. I get it. I don't know why he's starting. I don't know why he's starting. I would have started Marshawn Kneeland, and I said that. But he's starting. But you can't do this, Sam. So we had 2 breakdowns on that play. 2 breakdowns on that play. Let's look backside. Let's see how we're looking backside. How did they hold up on the double teams? Were they getting blown off the ball? They both lost about 2 yards. They can do better. Kenny Clark, Osa, they can do better against the double team. But that said, the linebackers were free, right? So anytime you get double teamed and your linebackers run pretty free here, that's a good thing. So that was not so bad, but they can play better, and they did play better against the double team. Let's look at the next play. Osa gets up the field pretty good here. You see, the issue is, y'all, that when we do lose Micah, and I know I have to bring up Micah, sorry, we start turning guys who were really supposed to be rotational players into starters. That's really what happened. I think Marshawn Kneeland should have been a starter. I don't think Dante Fowler is a starter full-time. Neither do I think Sam Williams. But look at him backside. He's supposed to be going backside of the quarterback shoulder. That's where he's supposed to be going. But look what happens. He overruns it. Can't have it. Everybody's doing everything right, but you got one guy who overruns the play. Remember, Coach said Malik Hooker. This is one of those plays where, hey, Malik Hooker was there to save the day. How many yards did they actually gain? The ball was on this line. How many yards did they gain? Okay, they gained 5 or 6. Nice. Anytime you can get one of your players in the backfield like this, when you're pushing their guy back, playing on their side of the line of scrimmage, that's what we want to be. So this is good. This is, again, I wanted Marshawn to be in the game. Unfortunately, you still can't get beat around the corner. I don't care how good the pursuit is. You cannot get beat. You're the defensive end. So what happened? Did he end up heads up? Did he keep that shoulder free? Was he just not athletic enough? I mean, right here, what happened? He's heads up. So once he became heads up, he had to fight like hell to get across, and he's not quick enough to do it. But guess who was there? Malik Hooker. So far, we can see why Malik Hooker was called out by the coach and as having a good game. Look at Osa in the middle here. Nice move. It's only nice if you make the play, because sometimes you can do this and then you can get too wide, you can get too far down, and then it opens up a big gap, especially if your linebackers don't play it well. He ends up making the play. Good job by Osa here. Let's look at everybody else. So we got big Kenny Clark in the middle, right here in the right. Kenny is taking on a double team. Let's see how he does. Oh, he didn't get double team. Actually, it was just one-on-one, and that's a win. Now, you want Kenny. Let's see where his gap is. No, he stayed in this gap. So his gap is here. He stays in this gap. Now, where was the linebacker? Like, what if Osa doesn't make a great play backside to make that tackle? Where's our linebacker front side? Where are you going, Kenneth Murray? Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, football is not that hard. Kenneth Murray's gap is not outside. And if it is, there needs to be, okay, let's say his gap is out there because it looks like Sam Williams wearing a stunt. Then that's on 57. Somebody needs to be here in this gap. So 57 needs to be here. So he read it wrong. Sanburn wearing the play wrong. That was almost a 10, 15-yard play if you don't get Osa doing this right here. That's why you got to be careful when you run stunts. Ooh, was that Solomon? One of the guys, Brian said, had a good game. Just look at his burst. He's always one of the first ones off the ball. And he's always so low and plays so hard. Boom. He's upfield. He makes the running back have to kind of stutter. And he ends up making a play. He doesn't get too far upfield when the running back runs right by him. He ends up making a play. Let's look at the linebackers. Okay, so this is a run play. You can see this is going to be a run. You got a double team here. This guy, one of these guys are going to be coming off to get the linebacker. One of these guys, likely this one, will be coming off to get the linebacker. How do you supposed to play it? Well, these linebackers got to play fast and go and attack their gap. And they got to play it with the right shoulder. Let's see how 57 does. Now, he starts to do it good, but he starts to hesitate right here and kind of slow down. You just got to be physical. Go throw that shoulder in him. But he does well. I like it. He played pretty well. What happened to Damone Clark here? Looks like there's a gap right there. Let's see. Damone Clark does well as well. He comes upfield. Boom. He attacks. But look at him. Now, what if Saquon was patient enough and he reads Damone Clark's? What if he reads Damone Clark? Damone Clark really he's trying to make a play, but don't get greedy. You have guys on the inside. Saquon is one of those dudes to come like this and then bounce it just because you committed too soon. So this was a good play, but again, we're doing film study because we don't want to just be good. We want to be great. We don't want to be good. We want to be great. And so far, the linebackers are not. They kind of held us back this game. Okay, good read. Good read. We got two linebackers right here behind the line of scrimmage. That's exactly what you want to see. Why do we have one guy not moving? Come up and play, man. Come up and play football, please. This one was stuffed, partly because Kenny Clark. Look how well Kenny Clark plays the double team. It's a lot easier to play football when you don't have to have your defensive tackle 5 yards. And look at Solomon. We have guys playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. We didn't see this last year. We just didn't see it. Look at Solomon. Boom. Extends. Goes and make the play. That's exactly how you coach it up. Again, Solomon played very, very good. Uh-oh. We got big J Toia in the game. Double team. What did I say the linebackers have to do on the double team? Once you see the double team, you got to attack your gap. Now, it appears that Clark's gap is here. He needs to be going there. Kenneth Murray should be going here, and Deron Bland looks to have this backside gap here. Let's see how they play it. Kenneth Murray, where are you going, sir? Guys, look, when I mentioned that we had 3 linebackers that were set to be starting that played on defenses that were horrible against the rush last year, everybody said be patient, new defensive coordinator. New defensive coordinator not coaching these guys up. Some of these guys are playing good. Some of these guys don't look like they're coached up. His gap is here. Look how quick Damone Clark is going. Look how quick our DB even notices it. I mean, hell, we should be getting killed on play action by how fast we should be attacking the line of scrimmage. It doesn't do no good to slow play it and get beat. 59, where are you going? Where are you going? That's not your freaking gap. So once he does this, now we have 2 people in the same area. Where's the hole? Here's the hole. We got everybody doing their responsibility. We got a guy in his gap here on the double team. We got another guy getting double teamed here. We got a backside covered. We got our DN outside. We got a DN outside. One guy. And that's exactly where the ball goes. That's exactly where the ball goes. Touchdown. All right, next play. Sorry, y'all. I know I play it slow, but that's the only way we can really figure out what's going on. Okay. So they tried to double, but then he's helping out on Osa. Again, just disruptive. That's the best thing you can say about the D-line, especially these D tackles. They're just disruptive, right? Which causes havoc because now these linemen can't get on these linebackers. Kenneth Murray is starting to come upfield. I think I see something good happening. Oh, my Jesus. Maybe that was his gap, y'all. Maybe not. Let me not speak too soon. Let me rewind it again. See, I don't know what gap Sam Williams is supposed to be in because it seems like he's always kind of knifing inside. So I don't know if that's what he's supposed to be, but it does look like they're doing the same thing here. So when they do something like this, usually that means the linebackers become contained. That doesn't mean they have to go wide and not get into the play, but yeah, they're technically contained. Somebody made the play backside. May have been Fowler. Or was Osa. So again, Osa, this was the second time we see Osa kind of get that play, or this may have been, and I feel like we already kind of watched this play, but wow. You want to know who benefits the most when you have a big 320-pound guy? Osa. I mean, he just was playing upfield. I hate that Osa ends up on the ground a lot, but I like that he plays upfield. Now, this rep, technically, he loses this rep because he loses his gap. So he goes inside, but he's supposed to be in this gap here, and it looks like he gets hooked by that center. See how he gets hooked by the center? So now that leaves a lot of open space, and it's hard for guys to come across there. Let's look at our front side linebacker and see how quickly he reads it. All right. He reads it pretty well, but they got a pretty good play on. And look what our defensive end is doing. Jesus. If we go out there and start 54 again, I don't know why he keeps knifing inside. especially on this play because there's nobody outside of him. So when he does this and gets caught inside on a freaking tight end, no wonder there's no help here. There's no resistance on the edge. Look, Sam Williams looked bad. Like, what is he doing? Does he not know his responsibility on this play is to play edge? And if you get blocked by a tight end, you're not a starting defensive end in this league. You're not a player. I can't have you getting this blocked. I don't care if you make the play. You made the play 3 yards after the guy made contact with you. All right. Again, look how quick this linebacker is playing it. That's great. 57 plays it great. He just gets one-on-one with the best running back in the league. He's just probably not going to make that play. He's just probably not going to make that play. But we got Big Kenny. Yo, think about Osa being, not Osa, think about this being Mozzie Smith last year. Mozzie Smith started 17 games. He wasn't horrible, but he's not even active. Think about that. Mozzie Smith probably doesn't make this play. Now, he still got like 4 yards, but that's because our linebacker has to make the play in a hole. But Big Kenny was there to clean it up. Good. Linebackers coming downhill. I think we saw this play. This was the touchdown. I can tell you this. Sanburn and Damone Clark probably have the best instincts. Kenneth Murray doesn't need to be on the field. He's going to get you hurt. Kenneth Murray doesn't need to be on the field. Sanburn and Damone Clark have the best instincts. I would say Damone Clark doesn't make the plays he needs to make when he can make them. Sanburn did miss that open field tackle, so I don't trust him either. We really need Maurice Leofau to be on the field. I say all that to say that. Again, we can't lose contain. Look at our defensive end here. This, I think, is Kneeland, the guy I want to start. I don't know if he's supposed to go inside. Maybe he is. But if you're going to go inside, go. Like, if you're going to run a stunt inside, get your ass upfield. Like, I'm not sure if he's running a stunt or not, but now look what happens. Look at all these lanes. Luckily, we have a backside safety here. But that's... Look, Damone Clark does it well. He causes the cutback, which is good. Let's see how Sanburn plays it. Where's Sanburn supposed to go? Why is he going so wide? Look at Sanburn's gap. He's supposed to be here. Go make the play, buddy. Again, maybe he's reading this player because I don't know where the defensive end is supposed to be. But I feel like they all made that, and Saquon didn't have great vision, but he still kind of made a play on this because Damone Clark again. It's not enough. It's not enough to just get back there, Damone. You got to make the play when you get back there. So when they do this and your guy pulls, we would like for Kenny Clark to not get upfield here. He needs to see it and then be engaging with this center and squeezing this hole because that creates a hole. The further he goes upfield, he creates a hole. At the same time, the backside linebacker is reading the pull and trying to and reacting to it as well. Good, Kenneth Murray. Finally, you read the ball and you're there. Finally, there you go. That was probably the best that all 3 linebackers, or at least 2 of them, played. They all played well here. Everybody flowed. Sanburn avoided the block. This was good. The D line. Let's see how Osa played the double team. Technically, Osa is in the wrong gap right here. So he kind of got squeezed in a little far. That said, when you got guys playing upfield, it's still hard for the lineman to come off and make that block. See, Kenneth Murray? When you fly upfield, now it's hard for him to make that block. But Osa has to play better. The D tackles didn't play very well in this play. But everybody's playing so fast, they didn't get anything. Look at Solomon, man. It's hard to double team him sometimes because he's just going to be so quick off the ball. So he pretty much beats his O-line off the ball, disrupts the entire play. We got Big Kenny Clark engaging, extending, doing what he does. We got James Houston in there as well. All you got to do is wrap up. There he is. Oh, look who is. Look who comes to play. Big Donavon Wilson. This must be one of the tackles he made. He didn't make many, but he came and flew in and made that one. That's who we thought we were going to see up. I was surprised to see Malik Hooker make so many tackles, but that was the coverage we played, right? So we decided to play coverage with our safeties, and that's what we decided to do. I just expected Donavon Wilson to have more downhill tackles than Malik Hooker. So you got Malik Hooker in the box right here. So again, we got our defensive ends kind of playing inside right here. So that means Kenneth Murray is going to be the contain guy, but you can't have two guys in the gap. That's the first thing I see. Let's just hope that Saquon doesn't see it. Nope, he doesn't see it. He also doesn't have much room to run here because we have Solomon getting double teamed. We have Kenny getting double teamed. It looks like Kenny went inside, and yeah, so he's causing disruption. And then you have Solomon. Look at Solomon. Solomon's a good player. You don't want him to get double teamed all game because he's a small. But watch him come off the ball, spin, and make that play. Our D tackles are making a lot more plays than last year. I know y'all can say that. Looks like we're blitzing here. Good, good, good. Kenneth Murray comes down. He has quarterback. He plays it slow. He doesn't go chasing the running back just in case. We got double teams here, so let's see if these linebackers come downhill. Come downhill. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. Don't hesitate on me. Watch Sanburn. Watch him start to hesitate. Nah, man. You should be flying downhill and hitting this gap. Don't hesitate. Every hesitation step you take is another yard that Saquon is coming towards you. Look at Saquon. As you hesitate, Saquon is coming towards you. You just have to trust that everybody's going to do their job, right? Sanburn has to trust that these guys are going to be where they need to be when they need to be there. Good job here coming down, making that play. This was maybe a 2-yard gain. They had 2 double teams on that, and they maybe gained 2 yards. That's not bad as a defense. And that was Kneeland coming downhill. Good. All right, we got a stunt here on the end, so that means Damone Clark. There's a whole hope opening here, but guess who should be scraping here? There should be a linebacker coming here. I like how he's getting upfield, but now you got to get flat. You don't want that hole to get too wide. Look at James Houston. It looks like somebody's coming free. That's James Houston. So James Houston ran the stunt inside, but he doesn't just go inside. He goes and makes a play, which is what I was saying earlier. Go make the play. Boom. Like, we got people who can make plays. I understand number 11 is no longer here. He's on a different team now. But we can still make plays. Just go make the play. Nice. So you see these pullers. When the linebackers see these pullers, they are firing in that hole. And this is beautiful. Quarterback barely catches the ball, and you can already see the linebackers are going uphill. This tells me that there was some coaching being done. I don't know what the heck was going on with the quarterback scramble. That's middle school stuff. But this tells me, look how fast they're reacting. It tells me that they were being coached up here. They were reading their O-line keys and they were being confident in what they were reading. So we got Osa and Big Kenny and them doing the double teams. They hold up pretty well. Pretty well. This was what? Maybe they got a yard. He may have gotten a yard or two. I think overall, overall, what did we learn here? We just looked at about 15 to 20 plays. What I learned is Kenneth Murray should not necessarily be your starter. I think Maurice Leofau should be involved more. And he should be involved more. It should be either Kenneth Murray or Damone Clark. One of those guys gotta be demoted. I'm gonna say Kenneth Murray because Damone Clark, at least Damone Clark showed the ability to be able to read most of the game. Kenneth Murray, I just don't know. But either way, I'm going with Jack Sanburn. I feel like I can trust him. I'm going with Maurice Leofau and then Kenneth Murray or Damone Clark. I'm probably going to go with Damone Clark, even because Damone Clark he gets in position, he comes downhill, and then he just doesn't make the play. He did that 2 or 3 times. I think he can make those adjustments if we're watching the film, if they're watching the film, and he'll be all right. The starting D line, I'm going to not go. I don't want Sam Williams as my starting D line no more. Let's stop. Let's not do that anymore. Let me go to the depth chart. What's the depth chart? Let's just not if we're going to show that we're a different team, let's make the adjustments. I don't know why Sam Williams became the starter because Marshawn Kneeland was starting during the preseason, but y'all made that decision. Okay. But based on film, you cannot say that Sam Williams still deserves to be the starting defensive end. Not saying he should not be playing, but he should not be starting. So that's the first move I'm making. Sam Williams, you're out. Marshawn Kneeland, you're in. Kenny Clark, you're fine. Osa, you're fine. Dante Fowler, I want Dante Fowler to be in on third downs. Now, who do you put in for Dante Fowler? I want Donavon Ezeraku. The reason why I want Donavon Ezeraku is Dante Fowler doesn't look athletic. So if I'm going to have somebody out there that's not athletic, I'd rather go with the rookie. I'd rather go with the younger guy. That's me personally. I'm not saying I think Donavon Ezeraku is ready to play all 3 downs because personally, I don't believe so. There's too much that I saw where he'll hit a tight end and it's like the tight end doesn't move. You're a defensive end in the NFL, you should be dominating tight ends. He's still not necessarily, he doesn't have the strength yet. So that scares me a little bit. But what scares me more is a guy who just doesn't look athletic. I'd rather you just focus on the 20 plays that you're going to go on pass and let Donavon Ezeraku get that experience in playing first, second down, things like that. And maybe he stays in on third down. Dante comes in, kicks Kenny Clark out. I do feel like we spent and I see what we were trying to do. We were trying to make sure we didn't take all out our run guys, but Kenny Clark probably did too much pass for me. I don't think he's a pass rusher. So I'll put in a little different of a package, but that's what I would do. Sam Williams, Dante Fowler, y'all out. Marshawn Kneeland, Donavon Ezeraku, y'all are in. Maurice Leofau, you're in. You're going to take either Damone Clark or Kenneth Murray. I probably will do Kenneth Murray, but based on the position, may have to be Damone Clark because Maurice Leofau plays your Damone Clark's position, but we'll see how that works. Everything else worked. Everything else worked. There was a couple plays where you see Donovan Wilson come downhill, but it's obvious that they kept him in the back coverage-wise. Malik Hooker came downhill a lot. His tackles were not just off people running 20 yards down the field. He was coming downhill. He was saving those big gains. So I think overall, this defense can be dominant. Not just good. I think this defense can be as good as any other defense. But we have to correct the mistakes. We can't have 2 defensive ends that don't want to play the edge. We can't have 2 defensive ends that cannot get to the quarterback. Can't even bring hurries to the quarterback. So let's sub those guys out. Let's put in Marshawn Kneeland. Let's put in Donovan Ezuraku, 2 draft picks recently. Donovan, we spent draft pick last year, Marshawn the year before. These are 2 guys we invested in. And let's bring in Dante Fowler. Let's bring in James Houston on third downs, and let's see how that works. I think if we do that, we'll be fine. All right. Overall, I think the Cowboys played a really good game. Take a look at the film again. Maybe I missed something. Maybe there was a standout that I didn't mention. But overall, I think the Cowboys played really, really good. Uh, what happened to the quarterback spy, Delta Roots, man? Appreciate you joining again. Look, I don't know. I feel like after the first drive, there wasn't even adjustments made. I don't know why it took a half. And then, even though it took a half, we didn't get better at containing Jalen Hurts when he scrambled. That's how they won the game, off a scramble. So I don't think we even really adjusted on the scrambling. That's why I'm not even looking at those plays, because honestly, I don't know who to blame. Coaches, players, I don't know. All I know is this the most basic thing to do is to stay in your damn rush lanes. That was disappointing. I thought Eberflus adjusted, but too late. He did. And the thing is, he didn't really adjust. Like, I don't think they really adjusted, to be honest with you. I still think the same thing that killed us was the quarterback spy. They weren't running the ball all over us with Saquon in the first quarter. They weren't. The linebackers needed to come upfield a little bit, and that was coached up. But the contain, that's where I'm gonna judge Eberflus. You gotta contain better, man. How can you not keep your defensive ends contained? I don't get that. How can you not keep the quarterback contained, defensive ends and D tackles? You're right on Sam Williams when Kneeland came and much improved. Yeah, man. Look. I'm not looking at more film than the coaches. I can tell you that right now, because I don't have practice film. I don't have every snap and all that shit. So if I can see it, I know these guys can see it. Sam Williams didn't look healthy in the preseason. He said he's 100% healthy. And then they named him the starter after Micah got traded. So that tells me he's showing y'all that he's 100% healthy. Okay, well, I'm going to grade you as you're 100% healthy. Sam Williams did not play well at all. He's a freelancer. He's not patient enough with his own athleticism. He doesn't believe in this athleticism to get back and get around people. Dante Fowler does not look confident in his athleticism to be able to get around blockers. Neither one of them do. So get out of there. Let's put some young guys in. Marshawn Kneeland, good player. Donovan Ezuraku, good player. So we're going to roll with them, Kenny Clark and Osa, and I think we have a good enough D line to be able to go deep in the playoffs. You could not say that the last few years. I don't care how good Michael Parsons was. There were times over the last 3-4 years where we were literally saying, man, put Micah back at linebacker, because we could not stop the run. That's why I don't get into it with everybody who says, oh, y'all traded y'all best. I don't get into those people. I've been a fan for the longest. I watched these games. I was one of those people who was like, man, Micah should have stayed at middle linebacker, man. He helps us at middle linebacker. He doesn't help us if they're running the ball down our throat and he's just on the end, not being able to get into the game. He doesn't help us like that. Put him at linebacker so he can make a play. And as y'all can see, the linebackers make a big difference. Every run play, the linebackers are in control of what happens. They need to play downhill and fast. Even if Mozzie was in the game and he got blown up 5 yards, that that double team starts and you need to fly upfield. That way, the lineman getting blown down the field doesn't make as big of a deal because you're replacing it. You're coming upfield. All right. So, look, I think we'll be okay, though. We got some time. They got 10 days. I think Kenny Clark needs those 10 days. I think guys like that. I think guys like Osa, he's a little younger, but he still needs those days. We need to give our linemen those days. You know, if y'all watch the offense, maybe I'll do some film on the offense, but our O line is elite. Not decent, they're elite. And we invested in our O line. So I'm not going to be surprised about that. We had too many first round picks and to not be where we need to be. So I'm good on that. So we're physical in the trenches. Now we just need everything to come together. We just need everything to come together. But I feel inspired. I feel good about what we did. And this is only going to get better. I made the video about Overshown, Agent Zero. I made that video before this game. I had no clue that our linebackers were going to look that like I didn't think Jalen Hurts was going to run all over us where it was so obvious. Damn, we needed a Micah or Demarion Overshown to be able to stop a guy like that because we look slow, right? So, but we're going to get him back, and with draft picks, we will get better. I think Damone Clark's last year is this year. We've given him enough chances. He's just not going to be as good as you want him to be. And I think Kenneth Murray is a project, and I think Sanburn. These are just guys to fill in, but these are not long-term guys. So we're going to get an elite linebacker, an elite, maybe even a safety over the next year, and we're going to only get better. But this is a good enough defense as is to go deep. All right, go deep in the playoffs and make a run. This is it. Donavon Talks Cowboys. I appreciate y'all joining. Go back, watch the film, and let me know what y'all think.